All right. So many things going on with veterans. It is what? It's June now?
Yes.
June. What's today?
The second?
June, yeah. So
Yes.
we had May, right? Our last podcast, it was Mental Health Awareness Month. We had
Yes.
Ray Shinahara
That's
on,
right.
and we talked about resources for veterans,
Uh-huh.
and then I just came back from a 2 week. I want to call it.
Sabbatical?
Sure, we can call it that. No, so we will talk about it on the radio show
But we'll just touch
today.
on it at least, right?
Yes. So
So
so it's called Home Base.
that's correct.
So it's a partnership between Boston Red Sox
Okay.
and Massachusetts General Hospital,
Yes.
and
Wounded.
also part of it is Wounded Warrior. So
Yes.
the one of the main ones is not Wounded Warrior.
Right.
So only some of their program is, but not the main one. So
But
the
they
main
are involved,
sponsors,
right?
they are involved.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
So I mean, to be there during the month of May, that was great.
Oh, wow.
It
How?
was something that was told to us by another veteran that we had
Yes.
on our show,
Yes.
and he said you should register for it. So I
Yes.
did, and it took months to not get a response, but months to go through the process, because there's an interview process, there's multiple phone calls, there's a lot of back and forth. One, they need to make sure you're a veteran that needs this program,
Right.
and it was 2 weeks, all expenses paid for. So, like I said, we'll touch on this on air.
All right. And I think, right, some of the things to talk about that is it was through our collaboration with Michael G., right? He was an active duty veteran, right? He came to one of our boot camps. He's also a volunteer for Red Cross, right?
Yes.
But it was through him, he hinted to us, hey, I'm going to this program. He went to the program, came back, and we talked about it on the radio. And you also took advantage of it. And then, you went through and you're done. And I guess we'll get into more detail when they tune in over at
Yes.
the radio station, right?
Yes.
But
So
by the time this airs, we would have already talked about it.
yes. So
Okay.
so I guess it's just a reminder. Go back to, what's today? June
Second.
2nd. Go back to June 2nd and rewatch it, and we'll be pushing it out more.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely free. All expenses paid. The flight, the food, everything is free. And at first, I thought it would be more like a fact-finding mission to share it to those here on Guam
Yes.
that can apply and are qualified to attend. But it became more than that as I was there. I was going through the program, and I said, oh wow, I think I need this. I needed it.
It's good.
Yeah, there's no spouses. They don't pay for spouses to go with you, no family. However, because it's in the U.S., some of the veterans did fly their spouses there. And of course, they could stay in the room with them because, the lodging was included as well.
And that's one of the challenges, right, is for our distance away from a lot of things. This is important, and it's really good that we got this from, this active duty guy who was able to take care of it, Mr. Michael G., right?
I know you told me to send him a picture, but man, it was a lot of mandatory, this, mandatory that, mandatory fun. So as much as I wanted to send a picture to him and say, hey, Michael, I made it into the program, there was just so much work.
And
There was a
this
lot of
is
work to do.
this is also something that really shows how effective it is when we as veterans get together and we talk to each other, right? And we really look at programs that exist and how they help our veterans. And we've been doing this going on 5 years now, right? And we started with Dr. Akoma, right? And when we did that, we talked about how do we get our veterans to get, regular medical care through Dr. Akoma, through the CBOC and all the other places out here. American Medical Center is also a vendor of the Department of Veterans Affairs, right? So veterans are able to go there. FHP is another vendor. So there's many different places that our veterans can go to. And we just did a show on our on the radio, right? And our veterans benefits on the radio, right? So the deputy director, Cooper
health?
Nurse, yeah. No, at Guam Behavioral Health.
Okay.
So yeah, he's the deputy director. Really nice guy, very very what do you call it? I can't describe all the words, but when he came there and he was talking to us about the things, he's very knowledgeable, and the programs that exist over there are programs that we need to take advantage of. There's different mindsets, but the programs exist over there and they're 24/7. So what does that mean? That means that any veteran at any time who's in crisis can get a hold or make their way over to the Guam Behavioral Health, and they take VA. So there's a way for them to go there, and because they're the government. If there's a need for, there's a term they used, but it's tiered payment for the services, they find ways to do that. So, and that's by virtue of them being the government, right? The government has to try to take care of the people. So if folks are having a difficult time with the financial means to get services, we want them to get services. So, and we've done quite a bit of that as HMI. We loaded up Dr. Andrea Lighthizer. We loaded up Dr. Root. We loaded up Colonel Urbano, who just recently started seeing us.
Oh, and McClure.
And McClure as well. So on top of every other means to try to get mental health, right? We're talking today with Ray Shinohara and programs that we're creating to take care of our veterans. So these are just a few things on top of things we're already doing to help our veterans.
Summer's here, Guam. Get ready for sun-soaked days with Kmart. From beach gear to backyard barbecue essentials, Kmart has it all at prices that keep your wallet cool. Stock up on snacks and fun kids activities to keep them entertained. Kmart is Guam's one-stop shop for summer fun. Plus, military and frontline workers save more with our exclusive discounts every day. Shop now for your summer essentials at Kmart, the 24-hour superstore. Summer vibes, Kmart style.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealing, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
You come in Talafufo?
Yes.
Talafufo.
Yes.
Oh, that was crowded. Like every night.
Oh, yes.
It was really
Standing
crowded.
room. As a matter of fact, we had to go get more chairs and tables.
And I feel like Aston is going to be the same. So Aston is June 10, 11, 12.
That's correct.
At the Aston Mayor's office.
Yeah,
to
Mayor-
register, you can call 671-682-7631.
Yeah, Mayor Salas in Aston, he's a veteran. Mayor Tidegui in Talafofo, he's a veteran as well. So both of these individuals have already filed their claims. So that's the good thing about, seeing these types of things and understanding and knowing that, hey, you got to do the things that are going to help our veterans. And that comes down to filing your claims, number one, right? Because this is the foundation of where all the programs and all the funding and things that we need are going to come from, right? File your claim, number one. Number two, go register up at CBOC. So those things would help with our numbers. Did you do something for the numbers? When was that for claims?
Oh, no, I think we talked about that already. But that's still ongoing.
Still ongoing,
So yearly count, veteran registry?
Yeah.
Yes, we did that already. So what's coming up is the hearing. Oh, no, wait, golf training.
You want to go with the
You guys just had a veteran.
What do you mean you guys?
golf-
Are you not? Did you?
No, I was part of it, but I wasn't here. I wasn't on island to see
Okay.
it.
So yeah, we'll talk about the golf tournament then. Yeah, it was a really good golf tournament. We have to thank a lot of our sponsors, right? So our lead, our tournament leads were Bob Kelly from MCS and Miss Norma Castellan from Chugash, right? So these two were the folks that were assigned, and both of them are veterans. Bob Kelly is a veteran, and he owns MCS. That's his business. And Miss Norma is one of the senior folks over at Chugash, and she's a veteran also. So what we're doing is bringing together veterans and organizations to really help our veterans locally, because that's the thing that we need to be doing. So that happened last Saturday, not this past one, May 24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's important about the golf tournament is it helps to fund the veteran functions that we do.
And as a nonprofit, right, you're allowed to go out and make money and ask for donations, right? And that's what keeps the programs alive. So if you're listening out there, right, and you would love to give money to help our veterans, because right now we haven't found a sustainable funding source for all our veterans, feel free to give us a call, 671-682-7631, or reach out to us at our email, right, veterans.hmiguam@gmail.com. And you're free to give us some funding so that we can continue to do these things that we're doing, because we have a lot of volunteers coming out. Most of them are veterans, and they need we need things to help with what we do, like feeding our veterans when they're there, making paper for them when they need it for these boot camps that we're doing. And on top of that, we have other events that,
you need the handouts.
Yes, the handouts. That's
what
right.
is making paper?
Making copies of the forms, right?
Yeah, so we actually give them the form, the up-to-date form.
Right.
And so veterans are like, I'll just Google it. I'm like, please don't use Google. Do not use Google to get any of the forms for the VA, because the VA will just say, sorry, this is the wrong form. So you have to go through va.gov to get the most current, because the forms can change any day.
And HMI is out there educating the veterans on these forms, because there's no outreach on Guam that, shares with the veteran what they should be writing or putting down on these forms.
There is outreach. Hawaii comes once a quarter.
Okay.
But they'll give them the form and they'll tell them, take this to your VSO.
Right. And I think, right, God bless our VSOs, and, it would be nice if we had more of them, and, if the VA could just, magically put down as many of them that do the same thing that HMI does and have them helping our veterans, but that's not been the case. And many of our veterans are out there and they don't get the help that they're looking for. And maybe it's not because our VSOs don't want to do it. It's maybe they don't have the time to do it. Maybe they're not getting paid. Maybe the Tejan office is far too busy to do that. The same with our ASIN office. And we can't fault them for that. If they're getting paid and they're doing what their supervisors are telling them to do, and that requires them to be away from the veterans, then we have to find ways to get our veterans what they need. So, and that's a good segue into just in the past couple of days, we had veterans go from 0 to 100, 0 to 90, and then 0 to 70. Now, this just happened not too long ago. So for one of them, the one that went from 0 to 90, got out of the service in 1991. So, I've often tried to make them feel bad about how much money they lost, and I know you've made some concern about that, and they feel bad about it. But the reason I do that is I want them to know HMI has only been around for 5 years now, going on 5 years. Now, when we talk about that, that means that for the times before that, right, in 2020 and beyond, right, they hadn't been getting what they're getting today. And I'll share with you why it's important. This person that got 0 to 90, we did very little but to help them know what it is to file a VA claim. We did that through our boot camp, right? And then we had them file their claim. And by doing that, they turned it in and went 0 to 90. When you do the back pay of today's dollars, this person lost out on $800,000. Yes, $800,000 that had these programs that are existing before HMI been doing the things that needed to be done, then maybe this person should have got that money. And that's money that would have been coming into our island. And when you think about that, right, there are so many things that, we probably have been missing out on. More importantly, our veterans. That veteran What do you think they could have done with $800,000?
Bought a house.
How's this?
Pay bills.
Pay bills, send their kids. For that matter, imagine their well-being and livelihood, right, of them and their children. Imagine that money getting into our economy. If we would have done this back then, maybe we probably would have had our VA hospital here because they would have seen and recognized these people rather than them not being cared for or being recognized by the existing people back in those days. And as I've often said, today more than ever is the best time to be a vet.
Did you want to finish saying thank you to all the golf people before we keep going in?
Okay, so Bob Kelly, Drew Arcee, also another veteran, and his business is Dugout. So they brought some really, they catered the event, the whole event,
so good
start to finish, right? And our veterans enjoyed the food. They had more than enough food, right? So that's something we want to do. Again, another veteran collaboration. We want you to stop by and check out Dugout, check out Drew Arcee and their team over there in Barrigada. Drone golf ball drop was done by Charlie Hermosa, another veteran. Again, right, we're bringing all our veterans together, and we want them to continue to do this. The more we come together, the more we're able to take care of each other. And this is what this is about, okay? So he did the drone for the golf ball drop. Chief Mary, Miss Edith Mesa, Rita Guerrero, Joe Ramos, Joe Tenorio, Ed Superales, Rick Torres, Joey Manabusan, Glory from Bank of Guam, Chugash team, Claro Pineda, Tony Caneni, Chief Torres and the Anderson Air Force Base firefighters, all our volunteers that came out. I know I'm going to miss some names, so if I missed your name, be sure you call me out on it. Ronnie over at the Sono Feliz and his staff for doing a great job. Congratulations to the first and second place winners. First place was Frank Russo and Dr. Aaron Johansson. Second place golf winners were TJ Hubert and Spencer Steffi. The grand prize raffle winner was Velma Yurko. And then the golf ball drone drop winner was Mr. Frank Dela Cruz.
Oh yes, and he just picked up his money Wednesday? No, Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday?
Wednesday or Saturday?
Oh gosh, I can't
I don't remember.
Probably Wednesday.
It's all a blur.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday. He
Yes.
did come Wednesday. I
Okay.
remember. Yes, he took the thing. So, and then I'm going to do a whole recap of everything for veterans in May.
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art matching vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Well, I think we still got some time, but we'll let you talk about it. Let's talk about this one.
Okay, so I know when it was first brought up, I know we were interviewed. So HMI is an organization, which we're a part of, that are nonprofit organization we're a part of. We did not. No one asked us about the bill. No one asked us for any input. We actually never even saw the bill until it was already published.
Right.
So some of the things that are very important and very key, and I think we will be reaching out to some veterans to come and, give their opinion or talk about what it is about this bill. But we did want to touch on a few things.
Okay.
So if there are veterans that do want to come testify for the bill, in support of the bill or not in support of the bill, so will, one of the key features is to create a Guam State Veteran Agency.
Right.
So it would replace, the single centralized agency, which is GOVA. And then it would also ask for an election. It's called an Elected Veterans Governing Commission. So there will actually be an election for the commission, but the only ones that can vote are veterans.
Right.
So it's going to be a 7-member, nonpartisan commission elected exclusively by verified veterans. So, I mean, that in itself, that's a tall task.
Yeah, that's a tall order, and I think we have it on good authority that it's going to be very challenging for us to get past that hurdle. But it's good that we bring it up, right? So everyone kind of gets an idea of, what to expect on that bill and maybe what to talk about. And maybe if we do that, there's a good chance that the folks that are in these positions may start finding creative ways to help make this happen. Or we may just opt or amend to try to figure out the best way to make that happen. And, there's been a history of, different types of elections and why they are or aren't able to happen. And I believe a lot of the elections require that, folks register, number one. Number two, that costs money. Number three, when we do these types of things, right, it seems like we're segregating everybody else, right, and just the veterans are doing this vote. However, you got to consider that sometimes the veteran's not there, and what about the family members, right? What about the spouses? What about the children, right? Some of this might affect them, and there's a potential for them to want to be involved in supporting or voting or casting a vote as well.
So that's one part. So that's one piece. So once this commission is elected by veterans, they will oversee the agency's operations, budget, personnel, and policy decisions. So not as it is today. So as it is today, the GOVA Office on an Aspen is operating on its own under the government, right? And then the commission is just an advisory board, right, today. So, but what this would change was, one, we're going to elect the commission.
Right.
Two, the commission will be governing all aspects of that.
So in essence, it'll be overseeing the organization that will take care of veterans, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And for all the things that sound really good about the bill, right, there are some things in there that really need to be, hashed out before it actually gets through. And I think the dates to get this done appear to be a bit ambitious. And that's fine, right? I mean, I guess that's the way for them to say, hey, this has been a long time coming. But what we don't want is for us to rush this through and then our veterans not really be a part of it or understand, what's really coming for them or what's to be expected, if you will. So, getting everybody involved, while it is quite difficult and it's a task to get all our veterans, especially everyone knows that veterans have a lot of opinions about things, and a lot of times they're not all in agreement with a lot of things. So
not at all.
We've still got to hear from the ones that might not be in full support and hear why they're not in full support, right?
Yes. So there's a few other things, so we're not done yet. This bill is about 60 pages plus long.
Yes.
And so even though, like what you said, rushing it, I don't think enough veterans know what this bill is about. So that's why we should be talking about it, since it will be aired June 9th,
right,
and the hearing is June 12th. So this is aired right after the news, so hopefully enough veterans watch this. And veteran families will want to take charge and say, hey, what is this bill really about? And come out and be a part of it.
Win one championship, you're celebrated. Win twice, they call you a hero. 3 times, they say words like legend and dynasty. 4, 5, 6 titles, They'll say enough is enough, but when you've won it all 7 times, what's left to say? The trophy speaks for itself. Introducing the full lineup of Ram trucks. Ram, 7-time winner of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Guam's beauty is only surpassed by its hospitality. Please help protect it by not bringing any items that could have a harmful impact on the island. Remember, if it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasive behind.
New training location confirmed. The Mariana Islands. Before and after training, you will identify and sanitize your tactical gear to prevent the spread of invasive species. If it's not native, it could be invasive. Leave invasive behind.
Get the new and improved KUN News mobile app in the Apple App Store or Google Play for Android, featuring the latest local news, advisories, promotions, giveaways, and more. New app, same reliable information from Guam's news leader. Search in your favorite app store for KUN and download today.
And we've also done some things. We've taken the liberty of sending this out to all the different chat groups that we have. Right. And in those chat groups, it's being shared so that they get to see it. And it's also being summarized so that if they can't read the whole 60 pages, they can at least get a summary. And then from there, right, they have some idea, right? And then this will be something for them to see, and then we'll do it again on the radio show. Right. One other thing is the tax that they're trying to use.
I'm going to get to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So Veteran Service Provider Certification is one of them. So it creates a good standing certification system for organizations that serve veterans. So this didn't really go into detail, the summary, so maybe we might want to dig into that. So it enables investigation and enforcement of complaints via a formal complaint panel and appeal process. So I feel like this bill is really huge. So to put all these different pieces in there, I feel like it's just way too much. And people that don't deal with veterans every day won't understand this. And as a veteran, you're going to be questioning, well, what are you talking about? And then, go ahead.
And then we had a task force meeting, and at that task force meeting, I think this was before before the bill came out, right? And Senator Tom Atta was there and was talking about his thoughts on how this bill might be best presented to the legislature because of his history of it and his history of understanding the commission and the laws that were passed. And he continues to try to let that be an educational point for our veterans so they get to understand it and see it, and hopefully the process gets to go through. So with that in mind, right, he said exactly what you were just saying, that, hey, break this down into pieces maybe. But I don't know that, they haven't been doing things to make these things work behind the scenes, and hopefully they have, right? I'm talking about the good senator and her staff and the folks there. If they would have done these things already and it gets presented during the public hearing, we might hear about it, or things from the public hearing will let them maybe make some changes, if you will.
So the next piece is funding.
Yes.
So how would you fund this? So it allows the commission, the elected commission, to propose real property tax assessments for voter approval. So I remember when we were interviewed the day after the bill came out, I said I wasn't for anything that would tax the people. And then it also enables the office to receive grants, donations, and engage in partnerships to fund services. Well, that already exists today. That exists today for the GOVA office. And expanded services, so it improves access to healthcare, mental health, which already exists today for the GOVA office as part of their mission. Education and tuition benefits, that's something that they should be in charge of or aware of as VSOs, because they would help veterans get access to that. And then education, and then employment support and job placement. Well, I mean, there's already, that's what the American Job Center does. They, here on Guam, they prioritize helping veterans.
Is that where Virgie's working?
Yes.
Our Virgie, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. So they have things that are already in place, like you said.
Right.
Which is good. we probably need to improve on it, but we won't know unless we hear from our veterans and get a good understanding of what has been going on over there, and are our veterans truly getting what they need out of that? And if they need to improve it, this will be the time to get that law to really pay attention to that maybe.
So let's just touch, I'll just recap real fast. So some of the challenges and considerations are the taxing authority, the timeline, 90 to 180 days, that's pretty ambitious, very ambitious. Separate veteran-only election, I mean, the Guam Election Commission, we have already been told that it's going to cost $250,000 to do this. So that's a lot of money already that they don't have, right? And then reliance on voter-approved assessments and donations, so that might create a funding gap, right, for this whole bill.
Right.
And then other government agencies might oppose transfer of the authority. And then extensive rules and regulations could hinder any of this. Yeah. So, I mean, it is great. I like that we're talking about it and we're having a conversation about veterans, but this bill is huge.
And this is why our veterans need to stay informed, stay engaged. It's all the things that the HMI has been doing out there by reaching out to our veterans and telling them to pay attention, you know, jump on the radio, listen to what we're talking about, come to the boot camps, come to the events. We had the summit earlier this year. That's one of the places where a lot of our agencies were pumping out information that our veterans can take advantage of. And that's going to be happening again in August. We're going to be out at UOG by request of the president out there, right? We're going to collaborate with them and put together that's not the summit, that's the symposium. Okay. So those are going to be things that are coming up that, you know, again, is why we do the things we do and get our veterans to really stay engaged and be informed. So what we don't want as well for this bill is to have a problem with making the veterans feel like, hey, we're going to do something, and then we end up in the same place we've been for the past how many years. And that's